Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rotoworld Football Show, November 11th, 2025. Happy Veterans Day to all those veterans out there. I'm Patrick Daugherty. I'm Denny Carter. Eagles, Packers. No one wants us to talk about this one, but we're going to have to do it. We will not be honoring the veterans of America when we break down this game, but we have to do it anyway. A lot going on in that game. None of it good. Absolutely none of it good. A lot of other bad news this week, too. Brian Daboll fired. Actually, it's probably good news to some people. Probably a lot of Giants fans happy. Probably less happy that, quote-unquote, Joe Schoen gets to lead the search for his replacement. I can't say I understand that one.
Yeah,
that's a thing that happened. Some actual good news in Detroit. Dan Campbell took over the play calling, and they're a juggernaut again. Every Lions issue is solved.
It's true.
After they bulldozed the Commanders, who I think are the first team I saw, Denny, I think it was 25 years to lose by 21-plus points 3 straight weeks.
Wow.
Commanders are so bad, they're being sent to Spain to play the Miami Dolphins this week. They have been sent to Spain, spent to Iberian exile. But Dan Campbell, good news. Joe Burrow, good news. His practice window is open. We'll talk about that. Bad news. Bucky Irving, Chris Godwin, still not practicing. Bucky Irving. I mean, this is the first ever high ankle sprain knee injury. Denny Carter, shoulder injury. It's getting higher every week, even though
every week it won't stop climbing.
Will not stop climbing. And then we'll break down at the end. We got a really good game Thursday night on Bezos Vision. Do you know what it is, Denny?
I do.
Really good game. The Jets and the Patriots.
Jets and Patriots. Yes, there we go.
11.5-point spread in this one. Game of the year. We'll break that down from every angle. We're going to break down Eagles, Packers from every angle. That includes our opening topic, Denny, the tush push. It's more controversial than ever.
It is.
It was on the stand Monday evening and committing perjury, occasionally dropping truth bombs, though. Like, it was a big night, very dramatic, explosive night of testimony from the tush push, which included several Eagles false starts that were not called, one Packers false start that was not called, and then one Packers false start that was called. And if you're going to run a knockoff tush push, expect the league to come down hard. You're going to cheat, at least do the real thing, all right? That's the message from the league office. And what are your messages on the tush push?
The tush push on Monday night, if it was on trial, was not totally exonerated. No. I think we can say that for certain. It has a PR problem. This play has a PR problem because
it's not real football.
No, it is. I mean, it's actually really smart. I think like one of the smart.
Oh yeah, no, smart things are quite frequently not real football.
And
the realer, actually, the dumber something is, the realer it is.
That actually might be true. Cam Scattaboo, things of that nature. But yeah, so it has a PR problem because 31 teams and their fans are jealous that they can't do this. But it especially, the PR problem is complicated when the team that can actually pull it off, because they have the strongest quarterback in history, jumps off, false starts, jumps off sides.
It's never just one of them, too. It's always like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah,
occasionally all 5 of them.
Like the announcers see it, the fans see it, the opponents see it. Regular old fans sitting at home drinking a beer on Monday night can see it. Everybody can see it.
Fans and gambling parlay commercials see it.
That's right. Everybody sees it, and it's not called. Those have to be called. You gotta like make the Eagles earn it, because there's almost, I feel like the next time that the tush push comes up in league meetings, there's almost no chance it survives. I think
they might ban it mid-season at this point, Denny. And there was 2 more thoughts I had on the tush push. Or one of them too. They unveiled the nuclear variation of the tush push last night, where Jalen Hurts was, what if I simply just didn't go up the middle?
Yeah.
Went to the left, and he gained multiple yards instead of
slightly
just standard 6 inches. Yes.
He gained 3 yards, and he was 1 slip tackle away from going the distance. I mean, it could have been like that. Of course, that was when 2 to 4 offensive linemen jumped across the line before the snap. So that does help. But yeah, man, the refs have gotta.
Well, someone made the point to me, Denny, about the refs, and they love to say, I think Troy was even saying it Monday night, how hard it is to officiate. Someone made the point to me on social media, not sure it's that hard if instantly everyone sees them jump off sides at false start or whatever. And like, if you can see it a split second later, like, it can't really be that hard. And that maybe there's special circumstances for a special play, like they can do the sky in the eye review on this because it doesn't seem that hard since we instantaneously spot every time they're offsides.
And you would think that the refs would be scrutinizing this play.
What are you doing? Like it's like
because the whole goal of the play is to quickly submarine the defense, right? Is to just take out their legs and get low, like low man wins, that sort of thing. But like to like, an extreme degree. And so if you know that that's what they're trying to do, then you got to watch if they jump across the line, or sometimes they line up in the neutral zone. This has to be. Oh, and then against the Giants 2 weeks ago, Hurts actually had the ball knocked out of his hand on a tush push, and they didn't call that. They didn't call that a fumble.
No, that was bad.
I feel like this is all trending toward the league being like, all right, look, we were okay when it just felt like cheating, but now it actually is cheating. So we can't let this go on.
I think that is true. Tush push was just a subplot in this game last night. Denny, the main plot was that it was the worst game of football ever played.
It was so bleak.
Yeah. There was a social media user who posted, "It's the kind of game that makes you fall out of love with football." And
I know.
Chuck Bass is his name. Boy, was it rough. So rough. I spent most of the second half playing FIFA. The boys came over on Monday night instead of Tuesday night. It's kind of a long story.
Sounds like a long story.
We did watch some of the second half, though, but just a stunningly atrocious game. Goes without saying the Eagles' offense is broken, and yet it doesn't matter. They keep winning. The Packers' offense, though, has become increasingly broken. Is the fantasy complaint, Denny, that Green Bay is too fixated on the run and not cutting Jordan Love loose? Is that true, or is it just kind of fantasy cope? Is it more complicated than that there's a reason they're not cutting Jordan Love loose? What is your take on this kind of never-ending debate and battle on social media, not just amongst fantasy players, now very much amongst Packers fans, that like the identity crisis in this Green Bay offense is very real? And like, I'm stealing someone else's point about a different team, but it seems like the Packers have this obsession with getting like third and manageable. Like, great, yeah, it's 3rd and 3. Time for Josh Jacobs to gain 3.2 yards. He does that 70% of the time. Within the 30% he doesn't do it, you're totally screwed. And just what is your opinion writ large on a Green Bay Packers offense that should not be this hard to watch?
Look, I brought enough data here, so I think we can have a comprehensive, like real conversation about what ails this Green Bay offense. And honestly, I don't know what it is. Okay. I mean, now we did have the Eagles calling out a play before it was snapped last night. I was
going to say, yeah, Denny, I think a lot of it is play sequencing. This is another debate I've seen because like so many people, I've seen this a lot on social media, to not to cut you off, but to cut you off for an extended period here.
Yeah, right.
There are people who making the point that Matt LaFleur, kind of like a lot of people in the Shanty Tree, is a great play designer.
Yeah,
he's not necessarily a great play caller. So like he's the kind of guy the film bros, like they can 12 minutes on one like run play that gains like 4 yards. Like you just don't even understand how sick this design is. I'm like, you're right. I do not understand. I don't.
Right. Yeah. Okay. 3 tight ends like rotating, like running the same pattern. I don't.
He seems so good at that. But when I watch Packers games, I seriously get the feeling he makes the right call for the situation. Maybe 1 out of 3 times, and frequently maybe just 1 out of 5 times. I feel like that's a huge problem, is the play sequencing for the Green Bay Packers. Sorry.
So let's lay out the facts first of all, okay? Because we do not talk about feelings. We only talk about facts on this show. Green Bay is 7th. Hey, this is after last night. Okay, this is after Monday night, including Monday night. Green Bay is 7th in EPA per play. They're 5th in offensive success rate this season. So
computer in the trash.
Right. They make the EPA machine go burr. But this is what the Shanahan system does. It just looks so nice on the spreadsheets, right? But I have more stuff that's even like more unnerving, I think. They're not even that run heavy. Okay, so like
cut it, please.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Make it stop. Make the truth bomb stop.
I wanted to be like, no team this decade has been more run heavy. No. They're not run heavy. 55% neutral pass rate. That's in line with the Colts and the Patriots. I don't think either of us would call the Colts or the Patriots like ultra run heavy teams, right?
Colts are trending that direction, but
well, you want them to because you hate Daniel Jones, but they're not yet.
I don't hate anybody.
You are.
I hate that he fumbles.
Deeply skeptical. It would be great. Seven fumbles over 2 games. Like, you gotta stop that. Yeah. Anyway, let's stick with the Packers. They're 18th in pass rate over expected on early downs. Okay, so again, not like crazy run heavy. They are also. I looked into this strongly. Okay, they're also not predictable. So in other words, when they have 3 receivers on the field, they don't pass at a super high rate, right? And when they have 2 or 3 tight ends on the field, they don't run at a super high rate. I don't know what this is, except for maybe, like you said, the sequencing. I also think Matt LaFleur is desperate to just kind of get along, to win but not by a lot, to not score a ton of points. And I think that he had more fun with Malik Willis under center than he did. He was having the time of his life. Basically running like a wishbone offense, 40+% below his expected pass rate. Like that's
where he admitted it. So he's trying to obscure the truth with we're not that run heavy, blah blah blah. He admitted it when they had Malik Willis.
Yeah, you're right. He admitted, and he has no. I think he has no interest in unleashing Jordan Love. But here's the thing: Love has been good. He's 4th in accuracy on attempts from 1 to 9 yards. He's 9th in accuracy on intermediate throws, and he's 5th in accuracy on deep throws, meaning 20+ yards. Like, I feel like it's not Jordan Love. He's playing pretty well. It's all LaFleur. And, we got reports on Tuesday morning that he's going to be coaching, for his life here. For the rest of the season. I think
that's a bit surprising, but it was from the Athletics, Matt Schneidman, the
last two games have been more than just like struggling. The last 2 games against the Panthers.
They lost to the Panthers at home.
At home, right? The Panthers just got smacked by the Saints. Okay, it's inexcusable. And I really do think I'm putting it on LaFleur, not Jordan.
I'm putting it on LaFleur too. I mean, undoubtedly, Jordan Love, I'm sure, shares in the blame a little bit. And undoubtedly, the roster also shares in the blame because obviously they're playing like championship level defense. But every criticism of the roster we've had the past 3 or 4 years, really the past 6 or 7 years that Aaron Rodgers had of the roster, they somehow just cannot get blue chip skill core talent. They had one player. They did have Tucker Kraft, I guess. They did. But like, how are we going on? So a team that has had over 30 years of continuously great quarterback play. Maybe Jordan Love, you can't be put, of course, into the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers basket yet, but an above average NFL quarterback. How do you do that? And then now going on the better part of a decade, not have blue chip wide receiver talent. And they're investing resources in it too. Like for Rodgers, he was driven to madness by the fact, I think the root of everything that's going on with Aaron Rodgers in his life, by the way, probably goes back to the fact that the Packers would just not get a wide receiver. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a team antagonize a player in such a fashion. Like, sorry, man, we can't do it. I know you're a Hall of Fame quarterback. You need literally just one more weapon. We will not do it.
Wait. What did he have to complain about? He had good receivers the whole
time. He had one good receiver. They were a one-weapon team with Devontae Adams. Yeah.
Devontae Adams was his own.
You don't remember the scuttlebutt the final few years there, how they refused to draft a receiver, how he's like openly crying, begging for a receiver. I would say justifiably so.
Jordy Nelson was not good.
This was after all that. He had elite receivers. No. He had elite receivers for a lot of his tenure. So, do not get me wrong. Let me be clear.
So okay.
Remember they wouldn't. Do you not remember they would not draft a receiver? They straight up would not draft. They did.
I only have one Hall of Fame receiver. I need a second one.
You do. You need more.
Give me a break. It's like Burrow. Like Burrow. Oh, you can't just have one Hall of Fame receiver. You got to have 2. That's the only way anybody's ever won here.
It actually kind of is, but
no, it's not. I mean, the Seahawks had won the Super Bowl. The Seahawks have never had a good receiver.
A lot of different culprits here, though, is what I'm saying for why the Packers. For why the Packers.
Shout out Steve Largent.
Yeah, shouts to Steve Largent. It is, I guess, there's a little bit of everything why the Packers aren't scoring points. They're not doing anything in an elite fashion, and they have some talent to do things in elite fashion. They're not even, although I wondered if it was like a play volume thing, but they're in the middle of the pack in time of possession. They're in the middle of the pack in play volume. I think it really, even though you said they're not predictable, that is good. I think it just must come down to play sequencing. They're not sequencing the plays they need to be sequenced. And it's like a tooth extraction, one after another, when you watch this team trying to go down the field.
It is.
And it makes no sense.
It is. I think they should just let Love rip. Like
they really should. They need to try it. It's already to the point, like, what's the worst that could happen?
Right.
Like,
That's exactly
what is the worst
right.
that could happen?
Yeah. Okay. So say they let him rip and he's totally exposed. Then you know. Okay. Then you know what you're working with. Right. Say they let him rip and he goes nuts and they win out for the regular season. Well, then you're cooking and you keep your job, Matt LaFleur.
I do think, not to project too much onto Matt LaFleur, I have no idea what his actual motivations are. I think a lot of the Shanny guys sometimes, Matt LaFleur does not seem like a bad guy, but I think a lot of the Shanny guys have an identity crisis when it's not about them. And LaFleur, the offense is his baby. It's all about I control every aspect of this offense. Like I'm the one pulling the strings, like manipulating this attack. And like, if he just lets Jordan Love rip, then it's not about him anymore. And it's kind of like, what do I even do here? Then he has an identity crisis, not just the offense.
That's such a good way of looking at it. Yeah. I mean, Kyle Shanahan just wants to be an NFL quarterback.
He does. He really, really does. And there's a little bit of that going on with LaFleur, I think. But
man, that's well. I have nothing to add there. That's well
I think
said.
we probably have one final thought, but we've talked about this one so long. We've got to move on. Yeah, I said LaFleur hot seat question mark. We already answered that, so I guess we can move on from the Packers offense. If anything else occurs to us, we'll come back to it.
Well, I did want to mention just about the pass catchers with Kraft out.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah. So Romeo Doubs suffered a chest injury. Monitor that. Keep it locked to Rotoworld. Some are saying. Luke Musgrave, 77% of the routes targeted on 9% of those routes. That came out to 3 targets. Christian Watson dominates the air yards, 45% of the air yards, only 4 targets. Josh Jacobs, I said on Thursday's show, and I was shouted down. I said that the real winner of Tucker Kraft being out for the season is Josh Jacobs. He was targeted on 25% of his routes. He was tied with Dontavian Wicks for the team lead in targets. So he becomes, I think, a very, very good PPR option, not just like a between the tackles, like touchdown guy. And
he has that in his resume. He's done that.
He's a good
throughout his NFL history. Although it's funny how we do sometimes literally shout you down.
We do like I'm in the middle of a rant.
Yeah, we do just like quite literally shout you down. But I hate to even say it, but what about Dontavian Wicks?
I was not going to allow us to move on before we talked about the best receiver on the Packers. Dontavian Wicks led the team with 5 first read targets. Christian Watson saw 2. He's all the way back. Okay, he was banged up. He gets open. Like his metrics, his open score, everything. Every year, it's like this guy gets open. Does he make boneheaded plays? Yes. Does he make the worst drops you've ever seen? Yes. And they have no choice right now but to throw it his way. I know I saw you posting about like not desperately not wanting to write about Dontavian Wicks this week, but we have to. And you know, with Matthew Golden out, I mean, let's just say it. I mean, Wicks is way better than Golden ever.
Way better. Way better.
So hopefully the Packers do the right thing. They probably won't. But Wicks is worth a pickup in deep leagues for sure.
I remembered the bow I wanted to put on my Matt LaFleur thoughts. As you know, I've been increasingly talking about I don't understand, especially teams that have the personnel to do it. Not every team has the personnel to do it. But when you have strong, at least above average NFL personnel, I don't understand why the offensive mindset is not always we're going to score 50 points today. Yeah. And Matt LaFleur is one of the worst defenders in this department.
Yes,
he's one of the absolute worst, where he just wants it to be instead this like big choreographed like chessboard. And it's not about like making the point machine go burr. It's about doing it the right way. It's about making the computer happy. Let's be frank. He's trying to make the computer happy. And whereas Dan Campbell's like, what if instead we just scored 50?
What if we just scored some effing points? Sorry to use language.
Sorry to be political. But so yeah, if we're not for the Green Bay Packers, everyone we talk about the Eagles, they're still talking about the Eagles, even though they won 10-7. I mean, I don't even know. Just shameful. Just shame. But even beyond the tush push, shameful enough. The non-tush push plays were even more shameful for the Eagles. What? Some of the team, the Packers have good talent that could be even maybe be better. We know the Eagles have elite talent. And why do them and none of them ever do anything? Start with Saquon. Like, is Saquon just washed? Was that like the final year of his prime last year or something? Is he washed? I don't even know what's going on.
So I'm not gonna say that I heard every word that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman said last night. I did not ever pick up on the fact that Saquon Barkley was definitely hurt in the during the game, and he came into the game with a groin injury. 2 weeks ago, he suffered a groin injury against the Giants. At the end of the game, he practiced last week and he seemed okay. On the second run of this game, he flagged to the sideline. He said,
"You were dialed in on this.
Get me out." He comes over. They put a jacket on him, and they put a coat on him, and they sent Tank Bigsby out. By the way, Bigsby again looks good, so maybe pick him up.
You're saying apparently.
And then after every run, Saquon's clutching at his leg. Why was this not a point of discussion last night? Anyway, he's clearly not right.
It was all in your mind. No, it wasn't at all. You were texting about it. I was in 2 different group chats with you where you're trying to say Saquon's hurt, and everyone ignored you.
No one would listen. No, I was like, this
everyone just ignored you.
This guy is playing through like a potentially like serious soft tissue injury, and nobody is talking about it. What's going on?
We just ignored you.
Everybody ignored me. I posted about it. I'm like, everyone's like, what is this guy talking about? But I was right. I'm telling you, just wait till the practice reports this week. Just wait. Anyway, Saquon's 50th now in yards after contact per rush. 50th. Like, that's crazy. He led the league in that category last year. So something ain't right.
Something is not right. And I think he has only 4 touchdowns. Like, this guy is like a bank examiner extraordinaire this year. Like, it is real. This is what we were afraid would happen last year. We overthought Saquon last year. And now it just is having 4 touchdowns. That is nuts. That is absolutely nuts.
It is
for Saquon Barkley. That's bound to regress to the mean, I feel like, where he's going to finish the year with like 12 or something. But man, so Saquon, we don't even worry as much about Saquon as we should, because we're just so worried about A.J. Brown. Mm-hmm. Is this just eternal misery at this point for A.J. Brown managers? Like, it's bad. Like, even he's had 1 or 2 good games, and they're on like 6 or 7 targets. It's like, what's supposed to be the light at the end of the A.J. Brown tunnel? I do not see it.
This is the tough year for diva wide receivers, I gotta say. You have Justin Jefferson moping around the field in Minnesota.
Body like, listen, we are J.J. McCarthy skeptics. Justin Jefferson, to put it mildly. The body language could be a little bit better,
but you can't be.
Yeah.
You can't be a skeptic. You have to make this work, man.
That's true.
Diva Jefferson moping, Diva AJ Brown just not interested.
He doesn't want to be in Philadelphia.
Like, truly not interested in playing. I feel like there was another Diva situation. I can't remember. Well, Jamar Chase is generally.
They needed to trade AJ Brown. Like, I think the things that make wide receivers great, they're so often just a quote different kind of dude. Like, they are wired differently. They're not just the average person, but even the average elite athlete. There's something about the wide receiver mentality.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like how managers used to be in baseball or even football, like a really hard-nosed coach, like Bill Parcells. You can only deal with him for like 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And everyone needed a change of scenery. I think a lot of the receivers like AJ Brown just like that burns everyone out. They need to go somewhere else then and like bring that energy somewhere new that needs it. It's just not working in Philadelphia. Right.
Terrell Owens is the perfect.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Right. He could not stay in one place for more than a few years before the team was like, I'm sick of this stuff.
Yeah. And the player was sick of it too. It's just you can only be that at high intensity for so long for people like, all right. Like, and a lot of times though, like teams that are on the come up and need that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh man, I really thought AJ Brown was going to end up in New England at the trade deadline.
He should have.
That would have been amazing. I mean, the Patriots would start a Super Bowl team with him.
Yeah, instead they're throwing to Matt Collins, which we'll talk about.
Right. So hey, wait, can I share some numbers on A.J. Brown? He basically he does not do anything against zone, and he does a lot against man coverage, and that's been the way for years now. But I just have some.
He ain't reading all that with the zone. He wants to go to war.
You're right. I have some numbers to illustrate
hand-to-hand combat.
So against the Packers on Monday night, A.J. Brown saw 20% of the team's air yards, who was behind both Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert in that category. He was targeted on 14% of his routes against the Packers. It's really low, really bad. He's now 47th among wide receivers in yards per route run, below the likes of Hollywood Brown and Mac Hollins, the aforementioned Mac Hollins. So against man coverage, A.J. Brown is targeted on 40% of his routes, and he dominates air yards in the Philadelphia offense. Against zone, he's targeted on just 16% of his routes, so 40% compared to 16%. Now, the good news is, for those who drafted A.J. Brown and have no way of not playing him going forward, the Lions, who they play Sunday night on NBC.
National Broadcasting Corporation.
That's right. So the Lions play the second highest rate of man coverage and the seventh lowest rate of two high safety coverage. So you have that going for you, but seriously, it should be a really good matchup for A.J. Brown.
Denny, did you know that Peacock's also an acronym? Do you know what it stands for?
I don't.
No, it's not.
No.
Sorry.
I wasn't going to play around with it, but I was like, wow, is he about to like rattle off like the longest acronym of all time?
No, we chose it because it sounds really cool. And cool. I think it's by far the best streamer name. I think we were by far the best Eagles-Packers analysis. Probably a good time to end the segment and to move on and take a short break. We will be right back after this. The Eagles are back in prime time as they host Jared Goff and the Lions on Sunday night in Week 11. Coverage of the pivotal NFC showdown begins at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus, don't forget to get the day started on Fantasy Football Pregame with Matthew Berry, Jay Croucher, and Lawrence Jackson, who will be live in Philadelphia at 11 a.m. Eastern. Boy, live in Philly is like real belly of the beast stuff. Gotta be ready. Man. Gotta be ready to be on a live set in Philadelphia, PA. They will be ready. I know our guys. They'll be ready. The Giants were more than ready to fire Brian Daboll. Almost, I would say, is suspiciously too ready. Like, they needed to be done. I was like, I don't know. That seems a bit untoward.
It was quick. Monday morning?
Yeah, Monday morning in Week 11, after a game where the quarterback got hurt. But Denny, I think that's a big reason this has happened. Like, so in Brian Daboll's mind, he's probably like, I've saved my job. We drafted my quarterback. Yeah. I'm making him look good. I think in everyone else's mind is like, wow, you've now had a second concussion incident with your quarterback. We had the infamous blue tent incident. And then Sunday, I thought pretty clearly concussed on the play. He's allowed to come back into the game. A huge failure on everyone's part, not just Brian Daboll's. But that probably had to be the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
I think, Denny. And
I'm going to try not to accuse anybody of anything, but I'll also say I was covering that game and I was yelling at the TV, like what is going on? The announcers totally oblivious to the fact that Jackson Dart had slammed. First of all, he got hit in the head and then he slammed his head on the turf and he's out cold. Like, you can tell if you watch enough football, you can tell when a guy is unconscious, even just for a moment. Okay. He was unconscious for a moment. The announcers don't notice it. Team doesn't say anything. There's no sideline report. There's no checking of this kid, right? Who came into the game having been potentially concussed 3 times, 3 concussion checks headed into Week 10. So he gets another one. He's so concussed this time that he can't go, that they're not going to allow him to go back in. But really, this goes back to the blue tent incident. And I think in his second start, right? It was on Thursday night, I believe.
It was Thursday night football.
And the Giants were cooking. Against the Eagles. And he gets hit in the head, clearly like it's like a concussion type hit, right? He goes to the blue tent. Brian Daboll storms into the tent. That's fireable right there. Like the Giants would have been complete. It would have been cool if they had just axed that guy that night.
I guess that it did stick in their craw.
It's highly inappropriate.
It was shockingly inappropriate, and he mishandled the kid's health and so many designed runs for a guy who was a better dual threat than I thought. I knew he was like a live athlete, all that. I thought my impression of Jackson Dart in college was that he overrated how good of an athlete he was. Like, dude, You should not be running this much. Like, you are actually not this good of an athlete. I was quite literally dead wrong on that. Like
a little like Baker Mayfield.
Honestly, he's more like Cam Newton. He's not as explosive as Cam Newton, but he reminds me of Cam Newton as a runner more than like Baker or even like any of the current dual threats like Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. He just kind of reminds me of Cam. I think because he's large, like Cam Newton is maybe why.
Yeah, he is big. Yeah.
But so, anyways, Daboll being fired, I think it's the rare firing. It has pretty serious fantasy implications because you have to assume, like, the order from the team is stop putting our franchise quarterback in harm's way. Like, stop exposing him. Like, a guy who's already reckless. Like, he's going to be reckless enough as it is. We can't keep putting him directly in harm's way on all these designed runs. You'd have to assume Mike Kafka, the interim head coach, is not going to be calling nearly as many of those. Did you agree with this? Is this a valid fear? There's like the Jackson Dart QB1 moment come and gone in fantasy.
So, yes, I agree. And also it might just be part of Jackson Dart's game to leave the pocket. And so that might stick. But I do have some numbers about how important the rushing aspect has been for Jackson Dart from a fantasy perspective. Since he took over the starting job for the Giants, Dart has led all quarterbacks with 52 rushing attempts. That's 7 per game. He has a league-leading 12 rushes of more than 10 yards among quarterbacks only over that stretch. He's seen 33% of the Giants inside the 5 carries. Incredibly important fantasy profile point there. And overall, if you just look at what the rushing has meant for him as a fantasy producer, about 40% of Dart's fantasy production has come via the rush.
Wow,
it's a big part of who he is as a fantasy starter, in 12-team leagues, which he has been.
So do you expect that to change?
A little.
I do think the designed runs are going to have to be dialed back. You're right. He's calling his own number a decent amount. I know that they track these things. A lot of design. And it was the most designed runs. So not just the most quarterback runs, but the most designed runs in that span.
Yeah, I mean, and these design runs, by the way, were being called when the Giants were down multiple scores in the fourth quarter the week before. Just very almost like disrespectful to Jackson Dart. Yeah. This idea that maybe Daboll could have held on to his job if they had, I don't know, scored some points. Not even one. Forget about winning. They can't win a game. I mean, their defense stinks.
To date myself, make a reference to Zoomers and Love. It was almost like Arthur Miller-esque. Like I'm going to save my job. Like this is the one way. Like Arthur Miller character. Like more designed runs.
Yeah,
keep calling him more designed runs. This is
right. It's the one thing I got.
Yeah, this is the way he's explaining to his wife who's leaving him. Like, you don't understand. We're calling more Jackson Dart designed runs than ever this Sunday.
One last design run. By the way, I keep hearing these calls for Jackson Dart to slide. The kid's got to learn to slide. The kid absolutely does not need to learn how to slide. First of all, sliding has been proven. Quarterback sliding, feet first, has been proven to open you up to like some of the nastiest hits possible. It does. Ask Trevor Lawrence. Like Trevor Lawrence, had to be carried, shipped to a hospital.
That was a particularly dirty hit. Like that was true, genuine, dirty intent.
But you're opening yourself up. Yeah. You know who doesn't slide? Lamar Jackson never slides, and that's
Mahomes barely ever slides either. Too.
You know what they do though? They have a feel for the game. They have almost a sixth sense about where they are in the pocket. Caleb Williams has this for sure, and they get out of bounds and they angle themselves so that they can't. They will not be crushed, especially in the head area. Jackson Dart runs sometimes with his head down, like a spear. That's not going to work.
And Mahomes, by the way, Mahomes and Josh Allen, they're the masters of we're getting hit. I feel like they know how to get hit in a way that will draw a penalty flag and not hurt them. Like they're masters of getting hit just enough.
I would say Mahomes, especially Mahomes, is basically daring a defender to hit him because he knows that if a defender looks at him wrong, he's getting a 15-yard penalty.
He's taken advantage of that this year in a new way. Where he's just trucking people. He's done this several times where I think the defenders are letting up and fear, and then Mahomes just runs over them.
Right. I mean, he's right. He's taken it's Jordan-esque in the way that Jordan used to like bend the rules so hard in his favor, and that's what Mahomes is doing with this desire to protect the quarterback, especially good quarterbacks. They don't really care about bad quarterbacks, but they do care about good quarterbacks.
He imposes his will on every single aspect of the game. We are witnessing greatness. You would do well to root for that, Denny, to front run this greatness. We would do well if Dan Campbell could keep doing that over and over again. And that is, of course, getting the ball to J-Mo, as he were known. So Dan Campbell, he had seen enough. Second time in 21 or 22? Second time in 5 years, I believe he had seen enough from his play callers. Like, I got to step in here. I got to change this. It seemed like the impetus really was they were not involving Jameson Williams like over the middle of the field, like crossers or whatever, which Jared Goff called after the Commanders game a cheat code, like J-Mo over the middle of the field and those kind of plays. More than anything, that seemed to be the impetus for Dan Campbell to take over play calling. So he takes over. Jameson Williams finally has a good game. They have their most rushing yards of the entire season. They score 44 points in Washington, D.C. Really struggling defense, the Commanders, it has to be said. A terrible, terrible Commanders team right now. But with that caveat out of the way, what were the immediate evident changes from Dan Campbell calling the Lions plays?
Before I get into that, I just want to say that I heard a local D.C. area talk radio host say that Dan Campbell had taken over defensive play calling duties. Wow. And do you know why this person said that? Because Dan Campbell is a big, strong man. He must be interested in defense.
He must be. And there's never been, let's be real, there hasn't been a play caller above the height of 5'8" since Dan Campbell.
When I told my dad that, because my dad was like, he brought this to my attention. He was like, oh, he took over defensive play calling. Dan Campbell doesn't care about defense. Dan Campbell's an offensive guy. He goes, what are you talking about? I was like, Dad, tell me why you think that he's a defensive guy. He's like, I mean, look at him. I said, yeah, I know. He was a tight end. And he cares about scoring points. Anyway, things were cooking. I mean, he was cooking.
It was, quote, in his bag. That's what it's called.
All the way in the bag. Yeah. I know it's one game. I know the Washington defense is not good, but I really do think fantasy managers are going to might dismiss this at their own peril here. The Lions easily led the NFL in EPA per play last week. They had been 10th in EPA per play coming into that game. The dropback success rate, 66%, was tied with Seahawks for the best of Week 10. Campbell, unlike Johnny Morton, the guy who had been calling plays, decided to pass the football. They went from a 43% neutral pass rate to a 53% neutral pass rate. That's a huge jump. That's something. I know 43 to 53 doesn't sound like a big thing, but it is
huge.
They also were above their expected pass rate for the first time all season.
Are you kidding, man?
Okay.
John Morton was a lot guiltier than I was even expecting.
Oh yeah. Listen, I think the Lions have been kind of fortunate to be where they are because Morton has been atrocious. I mean, this is why Morton came out 2 weeks ago pleading for mercy from the team and from the press that he had mishandled Jameson Williams. And I think Dan Campbell's first order of business was saying, no, we're getting the JMO thing going again. Like, because you're not doing it. I'm going to do it. I'm the captain now.
And he was saying this to John Morton. He was also saying this to Kyle Dvorak. Kyle, you better be ready. We're coming.
Oh, man, Kyle, it's going to be a rough month for you, buddy.
You better watch out. Denny is going to shout you down. Yeah, I bet you never thought you'd see that day. Denny's going to shout you down.
We're back. So I have some JMO stuff. He had a 15.5 air yards per target headed into Week 10. That dropped down to 10.5 air yards per target. Significant change. He was actually seeing some of like the easier stuff that we had liked the year before. And we had not seen this year. He was a priority in the passing attack. He was targeted on 23% of his routes. That's way up from his 16% target per route run going into the game. So like we're cooking with oil, I think, with JMO, and I think that you can start him as more than like a boom bust wide receiver 4 now.
Well, just a warning to us that if JMO catches 2 passes for 23 yards against the Eagles, Kyle will have never been more powerful. And we are playing with fire. We are playing with fire here. And it's fascinating. They're playing the Eagles. They're going to put all these changes immediately to the test against a much better defense than what the Washington Commanders are fielding right now. The Cincinnati Bengals, of course, do not field the defense, Denny. This could play a part into whether Joe Burrow actually comes back this year, as you mentioned in our video that we made for the website earlier today. His practice window has been open, though. They have 3 weeks to activate him. Could be back Thanksgiving night against the Baltimore Ravens on NBC. This is good news, right? Too, by the way. I've been enjoying the Flacco Sans again, but Joe Burrow, he was MVP level in these circumstances last year. I'm assuming he would be again this year. Just tell the folks about Joe Burrow's potentially impending return.
Yeah. I mean, he should be picked up and stashed if you can, unless you have like a locked in starter who's already been through their bye week and everything. Like, you just go ahead and get Burrow, I think, as a stash, not in 10-team leagues, but 12-team, certainly. He was dropped in a lot of places. I mean, I dropped him in a couple places because it just seemed completely over. Yeah, it's good news. I mean, because the thing with Flacco, here's what we know about Flacco. It's fun until it's not. And
the party always ends.
I do feel like we are approaching the point where it's not going to be fun anymore for Flacco.
You know who Flacco is, Denny? He's the last guy at the party that you can't get to leave.
Yeah, right.
Like, oh man, Joe was so fun earlier in the night. But listen, I stopped drinking 3 hours ago.
Right. I'm ready for bed, man.
Yeah, Joe still in our house, honey, for some reason.
Joe still turned on the game for some reason.
Yeah, no, he turned off the game. He's turned on the records. Like, I didn't even know we had a record player. And Joe was playing the records.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, we probably need the other Joe back in the saddle eventually. And it, it would make everybody probably a little more interesting in this offense. Although Burrow was terrible in his first 2 games.
He was.
I don't know.
The thing is, Chase and T can't get better than they are right now.
I know.
Flacco. That is kind of the tragedy of this, but they're not going to get worse. And Burrow, you do have to add him. He checks like so many boxes of being a roster clogger, but you don't have to stream when you have Joe Burrow. The defense does not exist for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think even if their season's over, Burrow is tired. Like, these guys care about stats. He doesn't want to lose a whole nother season of stat padding. Like, he wants to be back. I think he will be back and play. And you gotta, even though it's going to feel like a wasted spot for a while, I think you do have to add Joe Burrow. Speaking of wasted roster spot, Denny, Bucky Irving. Please, Bucky, we're begging you. I'm actually literally begging you. I mean, come back and play this week. But
I've given up hope on everything.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like no timeline is what Todd Bowles said about Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin. I mean, anything to add to this other than I am screwed? Do you understand this? Do you understand?
Oh, I understand. I have him in a couple pretty important leagues, and I've been starting Kenny Gainwell at running back.
Can I literally pay you real money to get Kenny Gainwell in my team? Really? Some of these Bucky teams, yes. We're talking about Ollie Gordon, Jeremy McNichols season over here. We would die for Kenny Gainwell season.
Yeah, Isaiah Davis, that sort of thing.
Yes, not a joke. Isaiah Davis, yes.
Yeah. So, who are we talking about? Bucky Irving. Yeah, I mean, I think you have to operate under the assumption that he might not play again this season.
Or like at least this month,
or right, it could be all the way into the fantasy playoffs for sure. I think for Chris Godwin, I think that you kind of just have to write him off for fantasy purposes right now, and assume that he's not going to be back. I just struggle to see like a path to a guy who played 2 games, suffered another serious injury that the team pretended was not serious. And now has been out for almost 2 months.
Well, the one thing with Godwin is that he always comes back sooner than he should. Like, he's done this twice.
He did that with
with this one
last year. Yeah,
but yeah, we'll see. It sounds like Thanksgiving's the over under for either of these guys, especially for Godwin. Irving maybe starts practicing next week. Chris Godwin, it seems like over under is Thanksgiving. And
yeah. By the way, with Irving out, I just wanted to say over the past two games, Rachaad White has 23 rushing attempts to 21 for Sean Tucker. They're splitting the inside the 10 work 50-50, rushing work, I should say. White is running 53% of the routes. Tucker is at 16% of the routes. So, who's going to, like, when it's negative game script, White can get there. But Sean Tucker's become a problem.
I keep comparing Rachaad White to just being, so you don't even want to have the real Travis Etienne. Rachaad White is turning into like the poor man's Travis Etienne.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, what would you say you're supposed to be accomplishing here in this flex spot of mine.
I
don't see the vision, Rashad. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean you're banking on the Bucks just having to drop back like 50 times and maybe he gets like 6 targets. Like that's kind of what you're banking.
He caught 5 passes against the Patriots and turned them into 16 yards, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of the New England Patriots, they're playing the New York Jets Thursday night, Bezos Vision, 11.5-point favorites. The game's in Boston. They're wearing new uniforms that could have been good, but instead are stunningly atrocious. In my opinion. Yeah, there's a few really bad elements on them, on their nor'easter jerseys.
What is it?
They got like a horrid NE on the shoulders, and they have like these black stripes. Just ruining an otherwise good uniform. Check it out on Amazon Thursday night, though, if you've not already seen them. Yes, Patriots, Jets. But the Patriots, the only thing fantasy managers care about, other than Drake May MVP season, is that we finally got the TreVeyon Henderson breakout only after Terrell Jennings got hurt. Terrell Jennings is practicing, by the way. This week he got a limited tag on Monday. They don't actually practice on Monday. That's just an estimation. But he has not been ruled out for this game. He could actually play. So TreVeyon Henderson, it's kind of like when you're on like a path where it's like if you proceed past here, like the National Park Service is not responsible for you getting eaten by a bear.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's kind of the TreVeyon Henderson situation. Can it sustain, though, in what should be an awesome run game environment? Like 2-score favorites against the Jets at home. Are we going to get rug pulled in TreVeyon Henderson, or has he finally become too big to fail after that really, really great game against the Bucs?
I think like a month ago, I was like, look, if everybody else gets hurt in this backfield, it's TreVeyon season. And then everybody else got hurt, and it became TreVeyon season. I didn't doubt that he was good, but the team doesn't like him or doesn't trust him. And
maybe both.
Yeah, and I think he proved the haters wrong. The haters being Mike Vrabel, of course, last week, and he'll continue to do it this week. Look, the Jets are being gashed via the run, giving up a top 5 rate in yards before contact. Like that's the kind of thing that a back like TreVeyon Henderson feasts on. Let's be clear. Let me be clear about what TreVeyon Henderson did in Week 10. He destroyed a really good Bucs run defense. Like on my Friday Q&A, I'm telling you, not TreVeyon, because the matchup was abysmal, and I assumed, as I wrote up in my funnel piece last week, that the Patriots were just going to drop back and throw it a lot. They did throw it a lot, but he still got there. So if he can do it against the Bucs, he can certainly do it against the Jets.
He can. I did something last week. I went against my own rankings. I try to never do because I do not want to be a hypocrite. But I realized at 11:55 Central, it's like I cannot play Breece Hall over TreVeyon Henderson.
Really?
Like I had a sixth sense like that this was going to end poorly for me. Breece thankfully ended up having a good game. But I tried to truly never go, because obviously, why would I do that?
Yeah, you definitely want to stick with it.
Why would I go against my own rankings that not only I spend all week working on, but that I then put out to the public to recommend other people to use? And the first time all year, I was like, I can't do this. Like I was like on the hot seat. I'm like, man, I wish I had not done this ranking.
I mean, sometimes you got to make a call.
I made a call and it worked. TreVeyon, please don't pull the rug. Why would you do that? Like, Terrell Jennings. I mean, Dearness Johnson. I mean, come on.
I don't think. I mean, when Ramondre comes back, the party's over. But for now, I think it'll be fine.
Teams, listen. The little things are important. There's too many coaches that lose sight of the big things because of the little things. Like, yeah, okay, you don't want Drake May to get hit. I know he might blow a blitz pickup once every third game. He might like run the wrong route. He also will score 55 and 69-yard touchdowns.
Right.
Like,
and that's something Stevenson cannot do, has never been able to do.
No, and Terrell Jennings will not be doing. What is the state of the strange Patriots receiver core, Denny? We got a Pop Douglas pop-up 2 weeks ago. We had a Mac Hollins pop-up 3 weeks ago, then another Mac Hollins pop-up against the Bucs on Sunday. Drake May is just spreading the wealth. He's playing pitch and catch. Is there anything to say other than that if you're open, Drake May's throwing you the ball, and it's making for like a frustrating, unpredictable fantasy situation?
Right. So with Kayshon Boutte out with a hamstring, and I would be shocked if he played this week on a short week. So,
or maybe they held him out with an eye towards
maybe
him tonight. But
But as long as he's out, then Mac Hollins is clearly the downfield guy, and you want Drake May's downfield guy. I mean, I guess it's as simple as that. I wrote about the Patriots receiver room in general for regression files if folks want to check that out when it goes live on Wednesday morning. But Mac Hollins, 34% targets per route run last week. Like that's really strong. Wow. He led the team in routes. He led the team in receiving yards and air yards, everything. Like he's seeing a lot of opportunity. Could this game get out of hand? Yeah, but it could get out of hand after a Mac Hollins deep ball touchdown. Like, I mean, so don't overthink it. Like Mac Hollins, if Booty's out, is a viable flex play, I think.
Not sure I can follow you down on that one.
No, I mean, he has more upside than most flex options, I think.
32-year-old Mac Hollins, I don't really associate him with upside.
No, it's about Drake May. Think of it as playing Drake May in your flex.
All right, that's a little better.
If that helps you. Think of it, Drake May, like a downfield assassin, Drake May, just throwing it to literally anybody who's down there. And it just happens to be Mac Hollins right now, so pick him up.
Speaking of literally anybody, are there any Jets with Garrett Wilson out 3 to 4 weeks? Any Jets other than Breece Hall that can be in fantasy lineups? And this team desperately needs to start Tyrod Taylor, right? What we need so much right now is Tyrod Taylor under center and A.D. Mitchell running 90% of the route. We do. If we can get that, we can work with that. We can.
A.D. Mitchell becomes interesting. I don't know. I don't know if the team knows him at all.
Aaron Glenn's going to act like our offense is too complicated to work in A.D. Mitchell for 10 days.
I mean, and Mitchell makes a lot of really boneheaded, really terrible mistakes. Like,
listen, you drop a 70-yard touchdown one time, and suddenly no one can stop talking about it.
But we also, I mean, we have a history of curious decision making for A.D. Mitchell, so it could all go awry like tomorrow. But he's the only guy I'm interested in, obviously.
Yeah, there's just Arian Smith, Josh Reynolds. I don't even know these guys are still on the team. I mean, Josh
Reynolds on IR, and you have
other guy. There's some other guy.
You have Tyler Johnson.
Is Vincent Smith still on the Jets? He's not.
Yeah. I mean, I would say Mason Taylor, but that gravy train ran dry a while ago.
Tyrod Taylor would revive the Mason.
Yeah. No, Mason Taylor becomes a nice scam if Tyrod Taylor.
I think Aaron Glenn is almost literally sickened by what he saw with Justin Fields. I don't think it could be Justin Fields Thursday night, but of course they are not saying, and we do not know. And keep it locked to Rotoworld.
Justin Fields has done a fine job of ensuring that he'll never start for anybody again.
I know. Gosh, it's so grim. Good time to end the show. On the show on that note, career could be over.
Yeah,
Justin
Fields. He'll be a backup for 10 years, but he's not starting.
No, they won't, because they want backups that are like a lead on the whiteboard and can come in and be accurate. And of course, being accurate means 4.2 yards per attempt and 3 interceptions. But he made the right read. Like, they want a backup who can make the right read and be terrible. Versus, they don't want someone like Justin Fields who might do something on his own. They want backups to only make the right read. It doesn't matter how bad it is.
I can't argue with that.
Can't argue with Denny. Really great analysis. His regression files are out Wednesday. My rankings are out Thursday. Kyle Dvorak will join us on Thursday as we break down the entire Week 11 slate. So for Denny, I'm Pat. Thank you for listening. We will talk to you really soon.